We're back with our 2021 rookie profile. Is Chatarius Tutu Atwell a heat seeker? Watch and find out. It's Brad from RotoHeat and RookieDraftGuide.com. Welcome back to the channel. We appreciate you stopping by. Take a seat, stay a while. If you have already joined us, thank you. If you haven't, like, subscribe, hit the notification icon so you can stay up to date with all of our amazing content here on YouTube, whether it's rookie profiles, live streams, or anything that we post. You want to stay up to date. Don't forget, check out RookieDraftGuide.com. All right, my question of the show, I ask it every time because I want to have that conversation with you below in the comments. Is Atwell a third-round pick for you? What round are you targeting this player at? I want to know in the comments. Let's keep that conversation going. Atwell is a really interesting prospect, going from a high school quarterback to leading the ACC and receiving in touchdowns in just like 2 seasons. I mean, he's a special guy, when it comes to work ethic, talent, and we saw it throughout high school and into Louisville. He didn't let his size hold him back. He's only 5'8", 5'9", under 175 pounds. I guess, it just depends on where you're looking. It'll be interesting to see what his actual measurements are, during this draft cycle. But he's really dynamic, with the ball in his hands. I mean, his leading season in 2019, he was averaging, almost 19 yards of reception. His freshman season, he played in 10 games, had 24 receptions, 406 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then that sophomore year, 2019, just lights out. 13 games, he had 69 receptions, 1,272 yards, 11 touchdowns. Also added in just 9 touches on the ground, rushing for 33 yards, which is interesting. I mean, the type of player he was, I was really surprised Louisville didn't do more with him out of the backfield, maybe do some jet sweeps and some of those things. And then 2020 didn't get overly involved because he only played 9 games, so the numbers don't look the same. 46 receptions, 625 and 7, so when they did play in those 9 games, he was one of their top targets. And it shows, that work ethic really does help put guys above the rest. His size didn't hold him back. His smaller stature didn't hold him back. He really did step up and do things in a big way. At Louisville, they used him in a lot of different ways. He has the ability to be a speed receiver, kind of take the top off the defense. Does a good job working on kind of the ins and outs of his body control and movement, and hands and placement of hands and all that. I mean, all those kind of, I want to say finesse is probably the best word to think of it, but some of those, the little nuances of the position, he really works hard at getting better at and works hard at using to the best of his abilities, and it showed. 2019 was huge for him, but our team's going to knock him because of the size, because of really the small amount of production. Just 2 seasons at the wide receiver position, but one really stellar season. I mean, that's kind of where we're at in this process. Is with the amount of talent at the wide receiver position in this draft. Where does he slot in? That's why I asked you. Is he, a third-round pick to you? Is he, I mean, that's where we're at, and that's the conversation we have to have. So this is a fun one. You're sitting on the clock. It's mid-second round, late second round, early third round. You're looking for some wide receiver help, and all those hot names have been drafted. You got to ask yourself, do you go with somebody with upside, game-breaking speed and elusiveness? Do you take a chance on a guy like Atwell? It's a possibility. It's a very strong possibility. We've learned at the NFL level nowadays, speed kills, size doesn't always matter. Now, you do have a lot of scouts, as I kind of read the tea leaves and try to evaluate what people that scout for a living say. Some still worry about size. But think about some of these smaller, speedier receivers that the NFL deploys in such a wide range of packages. It is a chess match. You hear the guys on Sunday say that all the time, using these guys as chess pieces and things like that, but it is. And a guy like Atwell, he could very well come into this draft season. Unfortunately, they don't have combine like you would expect, but 40 time, he could wind up being one of the fastest guys in this draft class. And though he doesn't have the most strongly developed route tree, think about Louisville and how they deploy their receivers and types of things they do, lots of very similar styles, slants and things like that. And with his game-breaking speed, with the ball in his hands, I think that's going to be intriguing enough to some NFL teams that want to do those types of things, use those types of players and just take it to the house, and he's the type of guy that can do that on any given play. When I look through our evaluator notes, obviously if you've subscribed to rookiedraftguide.com, you see that we do a numbering rating system. And when I looked at Atwell compared to a lot of the other receivers, he's kind of middle of the pack for a lot of our evaluators. He has that game-breaking speed that we all see on film, and he's very dynamic with the ball in his hands. But a lot of the guys are concerned about the size, on the team. That's the question you have to ask yourself. That's why I asked you, where are you taking him? What pick, what spot, what position in your draft are you going to take a guy like this? It's a good question, because he could be one of those sleeper type players that, could give you some wide receiver 4 or 5 production, and you drafted him late in the drafting year, or maybe he was a free type player that you picked up after the draft was over. I mean, that's kind of that helps really develop a roster when you can find some of those sleeper type players that come in and can help you in a pinch. Atwell is a really solid prospect. The work ethic, obviously, as I spoke about earlier, is strong. Changing positions, going from quarterback to wide receiver, picking that up and really excelling at it. I mean, that says a lot about the character of the player. And that really can't be forgotten about when we move through this process, because teams will look at a high character guy that's had to work his tail off, not only because of his size, but because of position changes. And that'll really speak volumes to teams at the next level. So I think he gets an opportunity. And I think there's a lot of teams with, wide receiver depth issues currently that, as the league is changing, aging out some of these older vets. I mean, you just saw things like Philly releasing, going to be releasing Jeffrey and Djax and things like that. They need some fresh blood, and they need some fresh guys that can take the top off the defense, and Atwell can do that. So remember, let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about Atwell? Is he a top player for you? Are you drafting him in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round of your rookie drafts? Let's keep this conversation going. I appreciate and love every one of you guys for hanging out with us and watching these clips. Hopefully you stick to the end so I can give you the go to Discord, go to our Facebook community, and let's keep this conversation going, Pitch. Because I say it in all the videos, because it's true. You need to know that we're here to help you. We're here to support you in your roster building and your drafting and your rookie preparation and your league domination. RotoHeat is here. Rookie Draft Guide is here to help you. We'll talk to you guys again soon. We love you guys. We'll see you.